Soulmag TV. Soulmag TV. Soulmag TV. What is it? Speaking on urban life. Soulmag TV. Soulmag TV. Soulmag TV. What is it? Keeping Christ in the center of the conversation. People look at my church and think I easily made it. Write books, make records, man, I hate it. It was a struggle, it still is today. Urban ministry can grind you up like puree. This beauty, it took blood, sweat, and tears. I've been here in Tampa for over 20 years. Created Soulmag and Soulmag TV, but you ain't seen the pressure behind the scenes. 37 episodes, 26 issues, lots of bullseyes and lots of miscues, but it's beautiful. This pain is worth it. Creating this art is my praise and worship. Learn to read the scriptures in context. You'll see that rebuilding is always a process, but Nehemiah did it in just days, but the rest took years, so we stayed. So stay in the battle, stay in the struggle, stay in the trenches, rebuild the rubble, stay in the fight, stay through the doubt. There's no free passes, so don't tap out. Yeah, it's a verse from one of my tracks on my upcoming album, Rebuild. It's called No Free Passes. And so today, we have really one of the most known people in music on Soulmag TV today. His name is Lecrae. And so I've known Lecrae since 2004. So it's been for a hot minute. Most people didn't know Lecrae back in 2004, back in 2006, back in 2008. But as his ministry continued to grow and build, more and more people began to hear about his music, his ministry, his heart, all the things that he was doing. And so, you know what? There's no free passes. People can see Lecrae now winning Grammys and, you know, going on sold-out tours around the world and doing all these big events and all the great opportunities that God has given him. But what many people don't realize is this guy's been in it for a long time. And his last record, Anomaly, which was #1 on the Billboard charts, that was his 7th album. That wasn't his first or second, but it was album number 7. So he was steadily building his fan base, building his ministry, working on his craft, getting better at music. And so today was real excited that we got to sit down with him on this episode. And we were at the House of Blues in Orlando. He was on the Anomaly tour. It was like a sold out tour, 30 cities. We got to chop it up with him backstage. And so we got an extended interview with some great stuff that we were able to talk with Lecrae about. So check him out.
All right. So picking one fond memory from Flavor Fest is hard because as a Christian doing hip hop, Flavor Fest was it's the pinnacle, it's the place to be. It's like, I don't know, it was like to listen to dudes rap or ladies rap and then be able to like be right there seeing them was like just this, it was an amazing experience, opportunity. So I think it's a combination for me of one, actually connecting, getting FaceTime, building relationships with people that I was inspired by or looked up to, or meeting people that I got to collaborate with, or, you know, it was just a meeting ground for a lot of us who were at that time, and still are anomalies, you know, in culture, and just a phenomenal place to be. Very crucial, very important. I think it was very crucial for me, period. But if there's one thing that stands out, I'll never forget, is seeing my man Shabak with his shades on. I want to say he had fur or something on with his necklace, performing songs off his record, and it was just kind of like, it was larger than life. It was just funny, you know. We laughed about it later on, but that was probably a highlight, just seeing that. It was crazy.
And that was the first time you heard KB at Flavor Fest 2008,
It's
right?
true. It's true. Yeah, I heard KB for the first time, and I literally was blown away. He just had such a passion, such a zeal. There was just kind of like a movement around everything that was going on, and it was like, what in the world is going on with this kid? It was just evident and clear, like God's hand was on him, and you know, I was just honored to, you know, if I could play any small role in fanning that flame, I was more than honored to do it. So.
What's going on? It's Marty
Fernate.
And we are
Social
Social
Club.
Club, and you are tuned in to Soulmag TV. The harmonization's perfect. You can't buy that
Don't change that dial.
channel.
I always wanted to say that.
What's good, Soulmag TV? We're back. It's your boy Urban D. We're talking to my friend Lecrae Moore, originally from Texas, now hailing from the ATL. We got to catch up with him as he was on the Anomaly tour. He was in Orlando at the House of Blues, and we just got to sit down and have a great conversation with him, talk to him about the tour, his music, how far his ministry has come. We talked about Flavor Fest for a while as well, reminisced about some old memories. He's been at Flavor Fest multiple times, been at Crossover multiple times as well, and it just has been amazing to see where God has brought him. So I'm gonna continue to let you in on this little conversation we're having. So here's Craig.
Yeah, the Anomaly tour has been special for me, just because it's really been about telling my story, you know, and trying to do it in a creative way. And so I've never done a tour like this. I've never done production like this. I probably won't ever be able to do anything like this again because of the story. I mean, the production and all that, that's something we could do again, but just the way this came together, it's the storyline where a person can just sit and experience what God has done in my life through, you know, from beginning to now. And that's really what's been special. And then just seeing the people every night, you know, and just all walks of life, all races, faces, backgrounds, 5-year-olds to 55-year-olds. It's been an amazing thing to see. And man, I just, you know, I'm left speechless, you know, in terms of what that's looked like. Yeah, Reach Life started after I remember doing a show in the hood, and a lot of young people, you know, came to know the Lord, and I asked one of the counselors or the leaders there, what's y'all's plans moving forward? And they were like, we don't know. This has never happened before. And I was just really burdened to create tools, resources to reach a disenfranchised community and create, you know, whether it was studies, lessons, tracks, something to help aid in the process of reaching and facilitating the growth in these disenfranchised communities. And so it has since over the years, you know, gone from curriculums, conference, you know, tools, resources, you know, CDs even, to now where I think a lot of our time and energy, what we've wanted to do is do something a lot more tangible and focus a lot of our time and energy into supporting the building of a school in one of the worst neighborhoods in Atlanta. So it'll be Peace Preparatory School, and it's in English Avenue, which is, I mean, hands down one of the worst areas in Atlanta. But what it'll provide is sound teaching, great educators pouring into the lives of, you know, these young disenfranchised kids, and they'll have access to great teachers. They'll have access to, you know, godly influences and life change. You know, and we're hoping this will be, you know, for you know as long as it can stand. So.
So when are you guys looking at launching that?
Well, there's a big banquet happening later on in 2015, and then hopefully by 2016, the school will be ready to roll. Hope so. Yeah.
What's up? This is Andy Mineo. Keep it locked right here on Soulmag TV. We'll be right back with more.
So I remember back in 2004, we got this artist submission in the mail for Flavor Fest, and it was from this record label that we had never heard of before called Reach Records. It's for this new artist that they had called Lecrae. And we get tons of artist submissions for our Flavor Fest conference every year. And so, you know, our team, we had this big stack of all these envelopes, and we're listening to the CDs, and that was one that caught our eye. And so we invited Lecrae to come to Flavor Fest 2004, and that was when everyone first began to like hear about Lecrae more, a little bit more from the scene. Shortly after that, Cross Movement Records actually picked up the Real Talk project. We had like the independent version of Real Talk Then he moved on. He was with Cross Movement for a little while, under Reach Records and Cross Movement together. And then Reach Records eventually launched off on their own and continued to grow and have different distribution deals that expanded and broadened their horizons. It's been amazing to watch what God has done over the past. It's been over a decade. So a lot of people can see Lecrae now doing all the incredible stuff that God is allowing him to do. And they could be like, man, you know, how he blew up that, you know, he's been doing it for a long time. So again, like today's theme is kind of like there's no free passes. It doesn't just happen to somebody. I mean, God's favor is there and his supernatural doors that he opens up. But at the same time, there's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. There's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of grind. And Lecrae has been through a lot of that. He's been faithful over the years. And that's why we can see where God has allowed him to go to today. So we got to sit down one more time with Lecrae.
Yeah, you know, for me personally, I'm trying to think through ways to you know, give back a lot of what's been given to me, and in terms of like educating people, in terms of you know, mentorship, discipleship, tools, resources, just help people understand like, you know, how some of this all transpired, and some of the things, the pitfalls and the loopholes that, you know, I've kind of had to wrestle through. So that's me personally, whether that's a book, whether that's getting involved in writing creatively for, you know, film projects or something, but it's really just trying to think through how can I give back and create some things that help people learn more about the behind the scenes aspect of it. And as far as, you know, Reach is concerned, man, we're really scouring. We're still looking for new talent, new artists. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping and praying that we'll run into some new blood and unleash them. And so specifically, especially some women. So if there's some young ladies out there, you know, who you know, sing, rhyme, both, you know what I mean? Raise your hand. We need to find your music. So.
And what releases are you guys looking to do in 2015 with who you have now?
Well, you'll definitely see some Andy and some KB. You know, that's where a lot of the energy is going right now. Is KB's stuff sounds ridiculous, and Andy is still really like, he's still developing into who he'll be. So his creativity is just, it keeps morphing, and as soon as you think you got him figured out, there's something different. So I'm just really proud of both of them, and they're like the next generation leaders. I'm feeling like, you know, coach a little bit now, you know, watching them play, you know, incredible games, and I'm scouting for new talent too at the same time, so yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from the flight deck. We're cruising at 37,000 feet. We just passed over the coast. We'll be beginning our descent in about 30 minutes. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to America.
Yeah. I was made in America, land of the free, home of the brave. And right up under your nose, you might see a sex slave being traded. And would do anything for the money. Boy, mama might sell her babies. Sell porn, sell pills, anything to pay the bills, anything to bring that paper. Gotta scratch that itch, gotta scratch them ticks. Ain't rich, but I might be. And I'ma shoot these flicks, I'ma turn these tricks, anything for a slight fee. Yeah, made in America. Mama told me that I belong here. Had to earn our stripes, had to learn our rights, had to fight for a home here. But I wouldn't know a thing about that. All I know is drugs and rap. I probably could have been some kind of doctor instead of holding guns and crack. I was born in the mainland, great-grandpa from a strange land. He was stripped away and given bricks to lay. I guess you could say he a slave hand, but I was made in America, so I don't know a thing about that. All I know is Uncle Sam looking for me, working on his corner, so I know I gotta pay tax. Getting paid in America, I was raised in America, and this is all I ever known. If I'm wrong, then you better come save me, America. Welcome to 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 America. Man, I die for America. I served my time for America. Got shot back, went to war, got back, and ain't nobody give a jack in America. I could've lost my life, why I lost my wife? I can't even get right in my homeland. cold sweats, whole text, paranoid, looking out for a threat in my own land. I was trained in America. How they get up in the planes in America? Flew right into the buildings, taking out some buildings. People getting killed in America. And I'm still in America. No, America ain't feeling me. I went to war for this country. Turned around, came home, and you drilling me? When y'all free here, saying you don't wanna be here. Well, you probably couldn't breathe here if I didn't load a couple magazines here. Y'all just complain in America. I'm jumping out of military planes from America. Hey, I was made in America. That's why I'm out here saving America. I got a brother in the cemetery now because he wanted y'all safe. And everybody want the freedom, but nobody want to hear about face. We bled for America, to keep y'all fed in America. But what's the point of talking? A lot of y'all don't really even care, America. Welcome to 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 America. I wish I lived in America. Wanna raise my kids in America. Heard everybody rich, all I gotta do is run, jump, kick. I'm a hit in your area. So please pick me, America. I know you probably never loved me. You never hear about me on the news, and you probably never been to my country. I hear you selling education, and got clothes that you throw away. Got plenty food in your nation. I can tell cause a lot of y'all are overweight. I already work for y'all. I'm in the sweatshops making these shirts for y'all. Now I ain't getting money, go to bed hungry, but I make some exports for y'all. But y'all don't know a thing about that. You was made in America. I'm trying to find me a ticket where the sky is the limit, catch a plane to America. It should be plane to America. Y'all blessed and you got it made. Heard y'all don't pray no more, y'all ain't say no more. Y'all looking for another way. Well, I hope it ain't true, but I'm packing my suit. Farewell to my motherland. Said bye to my loved ones. Fate, here I come, I'm going to another land. I done made it to America. I'm amazed at America. But I couldn't get approval to stay, so they sent me away from America.
So we've been hanging out right here at my man Cliff Brown's house right here, recording my new album, Rebuild. And we're hanging out on the front porch, man. This is beautiful right here. Studio's in the back, but we're just out here chilling and talking today about no free passes. And when we opened up this episode, I spit a verse from that song that I actually did with this guy too. We did that song together about there's no free passes in life. It might look like it. There's a chapter in my Rebuild book as well called No Free Passes. Really just talking the details about, like, sometimes we look at certain people, we're like, man, how did they do this? It looks so easy, but it's never easy. All the incredible doors that had opened up for Cliff doing production for a lot of big artists, he had to work hard for that. He had to have sleepless nights. All the 20 plus years that I've been doing ministry at Crossover Church in the urban context, people come and see our new building now and like, oh man, this is amazing, but they don't know when we just started in the old campus and there was just a handful of people and the roof caved in and there was just always all kinds of stuff going on. It takes time. It takes time to rebuild. It takes time for God to grow you and stretch you and shape you and mold you. And so there's no free passes. And that's so many times what our culture is looking for. We're looking for like a silver bullet. Like what's the formula to make it and to get there quicker and easier. And yes, we want to work harder and work smarter but not harder, right? But at the same time, through the difficulty, through the challenges, that's when God grows us. That's when God stretches us and shapes us and does new things in us. So thinking about Nehemiah is like that biblical thread that I wrote about in my new book, and even the new album Rebuild has Nehemiah weaved all throughout it. And Nehemiah, there was no free passes for him. Even though he built the walls of Jerusalem in just 52 days and all this amazing stuff that God used Nehemiah to do, like there was all this time before that happened. He was a cupbearer over in Babylon. And so he was this cupbearing for the king, and he found out about all the crazy stuff going on in Jerusalem, and he could have ignored it, but God broke his heart, and he fasted and he prayed, not for a day or two, but for months. Then he approached the king, and he could have been killed, his life could have been taken, but he approached him and said, man, I've got to go back to my forefathers' land, and I got to rebuild the city. And the king granted his request and gave him the supplies and the soldiers and the money and the paper documentation he needed to go back. And so even when he went back, it happened quickly. Physically, the walls were rebuilt, but then spiritually, emotionally, economically, it took years and years, and Nehemiah stayed there for over a decade to really rebuild Jerusalem and rebuild the people. So it wasn't a short journey of just 52 days and boom, he blew up and is there. No, it was a long journey. Any major thing that God's gonna have you rebuild in your life, it's gonna take some time. Any person, any projects, things in your own life that God is sorting through and working on, it's not like a microwave thing. It's not a fast food deal. It's a crock pot, baby. You know, it's got to cook for a while. And so be patient. Be patient in those moments. Be patient in the process that God is doing, and watch and appreciate the beautiful little moments that God is doing. So I want to encourage you, some of you watching this today, you might be in the middle of that rebuilding process and feeling like, man, I haven't made hardly any progress in the past 2 years. Man, keep pushing, keep grinding, and watch what God is going to do. He's faithful. And you know, his timing is many times different than ours. And so thank you guys for watching Soulmag TV today. Stay tuned. If you want to watch more episodes, check out our YouTube channel. Stay tuned to some of the episodes we have coming up. God bless you guys. Peace. I'm Urban D. You just watched the TV show. Now go check out Soulmag, the actual magazine. Go to soulmag.tv to download any one of the previous issues or watch previous episodes of the TV show, all for free. Pull out your smartphone, download the brand new Soulmag app. Just search Soulmag in the Android or the Apple Store. Soulmag, we're speaking on urban life. Join the conversation.